What's up, y'all? We back again, y'all. I messed up my name. I do sometimes. My name is Ryan Adams. I'm 856_Christian on Instagram. I always do that. 856_Christian on TikTok. Y'all know where I'm at. 856_Fitness on Instagram. I'm about to start posting my fitness content again. So if y'all want to see some fitness content, y'all know where to go. Man, Joshua. Before Joshua, my girl Emily's here.
I was gonna do it.
My girl Emily's here. Oh my gosh, this is my lovely girlfriend. Y'all know her. Whoever's in the Discord, y'all know her. No, this is my girlfriend. I talk about her in my videos sometimes, but y'all don't know because I don't say her name. I just talk about her experiences in video format. But wonderful person. Super excited for her to be here. My main man Joshua. Besides Emily, main man Joshua. That ain't my dog. Get out of here.
Hold on, we got.
It was me. It was you. It was us. If it wasn't you, get out of here.
On that note, I'll just leave.
Nah, you was here, dude.
I'll just go.
But
I
y'all
feel
know
like
who
I've
Joshua is,
intruded.
man. Singer, artist, producer, all of the above behind all of these lights and cameras and action, man. Music dropping soon too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nah, I'm super hyped for that. Listen, y'all, we got an interesting topic for y'all today. I keep forgetting what the topic is
I'm
called.
just so excited, man.
I
It's
know.
giving your life to Christ, right?
Is that what we said?
Yeah. Like, what is it? Like,
The
that's
process of
it's a
process.
broad topic, but
Yeah.
you know, we're just gonna go for it.
So starting your walk, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, okay, from the moment you get so like when did you get saved? Like how old were you?
So I guess that was what I was gonna say. Is I feel like, because for me, if to answer your question, I got saved at a very young age.
Yeah.
But like how we were saying, it's hard to really be like, yeah, I'm saved, and give my life to Christ, and I'm like 12.
Yeah.
You know, even 15, 16, it's hard to really understand what you're getting yourself into.
Facts.
And so I would say for me, yeah, I gave my life. I got saved when I was younger, but I gave my life to Christ at a much later date.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I was specifically 5 years old. I think I was. But yeah, like you said, very young. But also same process. Like I gave my life to Christ. I was always mindful of Christ, and I was always like, I want to do like the right thing, like for Christ type of thing, you know. And like I was serious about it. But at the same time, I was young. You know, You're not going to be expected to live a perfect life. And I also like, because I got saved so young, I fell into like legalism.
Yeah.
Because I was really trying my hardest to not disappoint God. Like he was a parent, because he is a parent, but he's not our human parent, you know? I wasn't really good with the giving myself grace thing. Because I didn't give myself grace, I kind of took away God's limit to give me grace type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you were older when you got saved, though.
Yeah. So it's like kind of complicated because I grew up like in the church, but kind of in the same way. Like you don't really know what you're doing. And like when I say I grew up in the church, I mean I went to Sunday school every single Sunday, was in the choir, did the piano, did the whole thing. But I didn't really like get it. It was just like my mom woke me up every single Sunday and was like, "Get out of my house. See you later."
Yeah.
And I would come back and I would just be like, "This is like so stupid." And then it wasn't really until like my freshman year of college where I really needed God that I was like, yeah. But I was always like curious and I was always like thinking about it. So I think it was like more agnostic kind of, if that makes sense, where God is there, but it's just like too far to really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think like my consistency started like my freshman year of college when I needed that.
What'd you do? What did you do to like up your consistency?
So I think, okay, so when I was like in like middle school, like you're a kid, like I'm just gonna like negate all of that. In high school, I was like a completely different person, like arguably not really like the greatest person in the world. Like I did everything under the sun. And then I was just like around like a bad community of people. Not that the people were bad, but like their behaviors and like actions and like words and all the other stuff was just like not like the righteous path that like a 14, 15-year-old should go down. And then I think college, honestly, not to give him too much credit, but it was kind of him just like
Why not?
just like honestly though, like it was just like surrounding yourself with like the best of the best people person that just like allowed me to ask. It's It just like allowed me to ask questions and like develop an understanding that like you don't really get in Sunday school. Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know you got something for that.
I was thinking because when she came to me, she didn't come to me because I talked about God. This is what I was talking about when we just recorded our thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was the way that I lived. And I
was
was in my sin. Like, I was still struggling with lust. Not hard, but like I was struggling with lust. You feel me?
Yeah.
I was struggling. Actually, no, I will say hard. Like I was. I was struggling with lust pretty hard. I was struggling with comparison pretty hard. I was struggling with all these things, but she didn't know it. I knew it in the back of my mind, but she came to me because she saw God's light in me. So it's not about the things I was doing. It's about the way that I portrayed myself as a man of God type of thing, you know? Because she was attracted to the fruit of my spirit that I was, what's that word?
Embodying.
That's not the word.
Exuding.
There you go. That's why you my girl. That's exactly why. But
And I was the one exuded. Wait, what's like the exudee?
I don't know.
I guess.
I didn't know if that was a word.
I don't think so either, but now it is.
Like, she was attracted to that, you know?
Yeah.
Just the way that I was, that I knew to be, you know? And I feel like too many people would try too hard to be like God, like all this and all that.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily being. Do you think I was being like outwardly godlike?
Honestly, no. And like a lot of the people that I grew up around, like went to church. Like the people that I went to school with, like we did everything together. Like we went to preschool.
Intermission, guys. It's cool. We still here, y'all.
Yeah,
still here.
go ahead.
We still here.
Okay, so like the people that I grew up around, like we all went to church together, but nobody was like particularly like religious.
Yeah.
Outwardly, it was again just like a social obligation that you had to do.
Oof.
So I kind of thought like I didn't really know anybody that like just like had like a quote unquote normal walk with God, because it was either you did it out of obligation or you were a bigot. Like there was literally like no
in between.
There was no in between. It was either you're gonna go to hell and for X, Y, and Z reason, or like
that's literally what I was about to talk about too, because I was like, that's the major difference between like religion and relationship. You feel me? Because like how I said, like in college, like I didn't go to church for like the first
year.
No, it wasn't a year, was it? It was that first few months because we went in springtime.
But we didn't go freshman year.
We didn't?
No, it was like
maybe it was a year. Okay, say it was a year, right? She still like met me while I was outside the church in college. You feel me?
Yeah.
It like the people always say like Christianity is a religion, and yes, it is, but it's so much more than religion. If you just call Christianity a religion, then you're missing what it really is, the relationship. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like my relationship with Christ is why people come up to me and say, "Yo, something's different about you." Like I feel peace when I'm around you. I feel X, Y, and Z when I'm around you. I can't get that just because I know every Bible verse in the Bible.
Yeah,
you feel me? It's something deeper than that. I feel like you want to say something.
Wait, before you do, I feel like just going back to like the like initial attraction. I think that like when you have relationship versus religion, you have like a certain level of calmness in the storm, and like it's not in every storm you're gonna be calm. Like obviously like there's trials and tribulations, but kind of what I was talking about before, freshman year of college was like the worst year of my life. Like that is like this like the center of the storm.
Can you give them a timestamp of where you are now so they have like a reference point?
Oh, so I graduated like college like a year out almost. So this was like so this was almost like 4 or 5 years ago. So definitely in a lot like better mindset and like better place and stuff, but me being like in this like storm of my life, I didn't really like, there was like nothing to grasp at. Like it was literally just grasping at worldly things that was like, if nothing else, very dangerous. And Ryan was always very much like calm, and he was like, it's literally fine, just like listening and just comforting, even though like he didn't have to say anything. And we didn't really have like the relationship that we have now, where his presence just like as my boyfriend is very calming. It was just like his character and his being that was calming, and I think that's like a different type of calm, and it's like a different type of connection. So I just think that's what it was, just like kind of like the fruits of the walk, just like exuding,
embodying that.
And I'd imagine this is something that happened. So I think one thing that I've been kind of learning is when you do exude those qualities. Well, first, let me say this, because like Ryan, you said, even though you were struggling with all of those things, you know, she was able to still see God in you. And that's like, you know, when God talks about being the light of the world, as where there is light, then there can't be but so much darkness.
Right.
And so it's like even this room that we're in right now, it's not, these lights are on us, but because the lights are on us, there's also light everywhere around us. Because it's reflecting off of us and whatever is around us, more light will be there. So even though you are dealing with stuff, it doesn't mean that you can't still be used as, you know, somebody that God could help touch other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No one's too dirty. As they say.
And I think it comes in stages too. Like how you talk about being saved at 5 versus being saved at 23. God's not gonna ask the same thing of you,
Right.
you know?
I want to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Like the different walks, because like we were both saved at a young age. Obviously, like our walk would have been different than like your walk being saved at like an older age. Because like for me personally, being saved at 5 years old, we talk about like what that process is like. Like not that I can remember like all the way back to 5 years old. I remember when I got saved, and I remember coming down from upstairs. I came down to my living room where my mom was at, and I was like, "Yo, mom, I want to be saved like right now." You feel me?
Oh, so you weren't even at
I wasn't even
church.
at church. No, I wasn't at church. I was like, yo, I want to be saved like right now. I was excited and everything. We said like the little prayer. I remember like vividly like getting saved. I was rolling on the ground, super happy. You feel me?
I can
I was
imagine
like,
Mr. Adams just crying.
I was
just
like, yo, no, my mom was super happy.
Hercules.
Like, it was a great time. You feel me? I was super happy. And I didn't have any expectations. I just knew I loved God. Like that's all it was. And that's the beautiful thing about being young. God tells us to have like a childlike spirit because when you're like a child like that, you don't think about like, well, I also just watched a bad cartoon. He said a bad word. You feel me?
You're not
like,
tripping
you don't
over
think about
that.
Yeah,
You gonna watch
feel
it
me?
right after this.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I just like, yo, give my life to God. Like, yeah, that's what God means to me. So it's like have a childlike spirit like towards Him. But like as I got older, I started realizing, I'm trying to do all the right things. You feel me? Like cursing. That was like a big thing. Like going to middle school, all my friends knew I didn't curse. You know, it was so much that they would come around me and be like, "Yo, is it cool if we curse around you?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, bro. Like, I'm still like a regular guy.
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? You can curse around me." And like, I was also like pretty like well known in my school, so
that guy.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
The Himalayan salt.
Slight flex.
God.
But nah, like they would always ask like, yo, are you sure we can say these words around you? You feel me? So it got to a point where in middle school, I remember I was like, I might have been middle school. It was middle school, I think it was. I was like in my room, maybe elementary school, and I was like mumbling curse words to myself, like, you know, intrusive thoughts. Them things was like
She was on.
I've never been in my
In your
room.
room.
no, like
I've been real secular before, but not like that.
because this is like intrusive. Like even now, sometimes I get like an intrusive thought, and
You
I
was
got,
practicing?
no.
I hear you.
See,
I
now
hear
they're
you,
clowning me,
I hear
right? They don't be like them. They judge you. All right, don't be that type of Christian. Nah, but
That's the type
like
of Christian I am.
It's me.
I judge righteously.
I'm the problem.
no. Let me.
You was
I'm trying because like for real. You feel me?
yeah.
Like sometimes, like even now, I'll get like not like a crazy intrusive thought, but like I'll get like an impulse, and like I gotta like do the impulse. So I feel like like I'm not unclean. I don't know how to describe it. I just don't feel good.
Yeah.
You feel me? So like back then, that's when it had started like happening, and like I would start mumbling like curse words to myself, and I felt so bad about it that I went to my mom's room, and I was like, Mom, I'm mumbling curse words to myself. I don't know what to do, Mom. I'm sitting there, almost crying and everything.
Dang.
She was like, "Man, it's like it's not that big of a deal. Like that's." I think I was like 11. So when she told me like it's not that big of a deal, I'm thinking my mom. I'm not thinking like woman of God. I'm thinking woman who follows all God's rules. You feel me?
Oh wow.
Yeah. So when I told her this, I'm like, she's gonna be mad at me because I broke one of God's rules. Like, oh no. But the conversation I had with her that day, I was too young to realize it, but it was like the lead way into letting me know, yo, Ryan, you fall into legalism. Like, God don't care about you, bro. Like, don't go too far into this because it's gonna be hectic like later on when you actually understand like more things in the spirit and all this and all that. You feel me?
Yeah. I keep like, even as you said earlier, because you mentioned about the difference in terms of like us being saved younger and Emily being saved like more recently. To me, I would say like, yeah, I got saved when I was younger. But I also, I kind of feel like it mattered that I got saved, but it also didn't matter in a way. Like I talked to it with my dad one day. I said, I thank you for showing me this when I was growing up. So when I wanted to turn to it, I could. Because to be honest, I think it's one thing to it. And we've talked about this concept of salvation for a while. because it's a big one. Like, so when I'm saved by God, or when I accept salvation, I don't think it's the same moment that I also turn my life over.
No.
Which
No, it depends.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody. Like, at a younger age, obviously,
I feel like if you're younger, you probably it's
got
more
saved.
likely. Like, if you get saved more recently, like later in life, then when you accept salvation and when you turn your life over, it's probably much closer. But even then, like, God is so big, and like the idea of giving your life over is so big that it would really be difficult to, like, yeah, I accept God's salvation and I'm ready to turn my life over and actually know what it means to turn your life over.
know what it means. That's the big
Yeah.
part. I feel like you want to say something to Emily.
No, I was.
'Cause I'm late.
I was just thinking about what you were saying about like, thank you for like showing me this so I can turn to it later. Cause like, again, like from the time I was literally like in elementary school to the time I was like basically in high school, I accumulated a lot of biblical knowledge. Like I know a lot of stories. I knew like the books of the Bible. I knew a lot of things, but it kind of just felt like a history lesson and not anything that I could like conceptualize and bring into my life. And I am grateful for that opportunity, because then when I was ready to kind of like make that leap at like the age of 18 or however old I was, I had a foundation, and like it wasn't the sturdiest foundation, it wasn't the most helpful foundation, but it was a foundation.
Something.
Right, because I'm not like starting from ground zero, just like not even knowing like how to pronounce like chapters and verses, like or how
I
to
still don't know.
or how
I'm like, she keep going like this and make that.
Sorry.
I would not be sick later on.
Oh my God.
She was still good. I'm
gonna double check. I'm a triple check.
That is so dumb. But like I knew how to open a Bible and I knew how to find stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's still helpful, even though I had no idea what it meant. And I literally got kicked out of Sunday school before. Like
Dang.
I would go to
They
Sunday
put you
school.
on ISS
No,
in
they
church.
did. I literally
Crazy, right?
because I would go there every single Sunday and just argue. Like that's what I did. I would go and I'd be like, this is literally stupid. It doesn't make any sense that, because like my whole thing, and I even said this with you, like I just like make up these like moral issues about like how come good people can go to hell, like, and that was like my thing, and nobody can give
That's
me
a good question.
and nobody was like giving me the answer, and like it would just like snowball.
I gave her an answer.
Yeah, and then I like had to do like some whatever introspection, but it was like, why do good people go to hell? Or what about if you don't have access to God, and like all these things? And I was like, I literally would go every single Sunday and I would just argue. The worst part is that my Sunday school teacher was my actual school's librarian, so then I will also be arguing in
So
school.
she don't even be reading.
I got a question.
Wait. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, did you argue with the Bible? Like a lot of people who don't know God, they argue with the Bible to try to downplay what the Bible says. You know what I mean?
What do you mean argue with Bible?
Like
Bible
on the
verses.
on the grounds of the Bible.
Yeah, I would argue with everything. I would argue with like her interpretation. I would argue with the words. I would argue with everything.
No, but like in your argument, when you were arguing back, did you like quote Bible verses?
No.
Okay, I know like a lot of people do that. They would take them out of context like completely.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I did,
But that happens, and I'll say this because then I don't know, were you gonna answer her question?
No, I was asking.
Because I think when people don't want to like feel those conversations, it's because they've taken a stage that is greater than their anointing that they have.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm mad because I'm not mad that you asked the question. I'm mad that I'm up here in this position and I don't know how.
Yeah.
And I'm up here to make, and I always say this, if you are going to serve God, take any kind of position of leadership in God's name, it cannot be to make yourself feel better about your walk with God.
Right.
It cannot be the thing
Yeah.
that you see as your redeeming quality to
Right.
get into heaven or to, clean you of your sins.
Wait, that's because you said that. Okay, so I remember the moment that like we were sitting in the car and we were talking again about like my problems, for lack of a better word. And then I was just like, you know what, like let's do it. Like let's get me saved. And Ryan was like, do you remember that in
Let's
the car?
get me saved.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what, like let's do it. Like it doesn't matter. We were sitting in the parking lot of like North, like in front of Moan. You know?
I vaguely remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just like sitting in the car. It was like late at night. We're just like, I was like, yeah, like whatever. Like I don't want to go to hell. So like, let's just do it. And like, that's literally how it started being more considered. I was like, well, the alternative is pretty bad. So
Yeah.
like, what do I have to lose?
And that does not offend God.
Yeah, but like that's not really being saved, I don't think, because that's not really like accepting that like he died on the cross for your sins. It's not like accepting like all like the ways of life that like it's just out of convenience. It's not out of relationship.
It's like what Joshua said, like you can't accept the gift without accepting the
like
Savior.
The responsibilities too.
Yeah, right.
And that is like literally how it started. I was like, might as well.
Yeah, literally,
that thing.
But that's enough for God though. Like, because you got to figure God, when he died, Jesus, when he died, it was under, he says that I do this so that you might have life. Might.
Yeah.
So he's doing this with the expectation that you may or may not choose to pick this up. And I think a lot of times we get caught up on like, oh, well, because obviously you still don't think, oh, well, I just don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
Right. But that was what got you through the door.
Yeah.
You know?
That's like what put your hand on the doorknob, but like you still have to open the door. You still have to walk through the door frame.
Yeah. And like once you get in there, you got to do certain things to stay.
Yeah, literally. And like when I started, I was like, whatever, like I don't care. But obviously, like that was 4 years ago.
It's that heart posture thing. Like 'cause when you start, like you go into it with like whatever heart, like you know the truth though. Like in your head, you knew the truth. Like you feel me? That was your heart posture.
Yeah.
And that's why the Bible says like God will change our heart Himself. You know, so that's why like you look completely different like now than you did like 4 years ago, because your heart like He was like working on it and like in the midst of it. You know what I mean? Another thing I wanted to say, like in terms of like the process of like being a Christian and everything and like our walk, like me and Joshua like had to experience something that you didn't like have to experience, because like I remember in high school, like for me, I hated being known as like the Christian like kid, you know, like not hate it, but it wasn't like one of my favorite things, like you feel me, and like the fact that people like I said had to come up to me and ask like, can I curse around, dude? Like it was like bittersweet type of thing, but also I just felt I almost felt not like a outcast. I felt like, because I did fit in.
You're set aside.
I was set aside. That's the word.
Yeah.
And like that's the Bible says you're going to be set aside. But like actually like living it in like a high school, like
you can read set aside and not, you can know what it says but not know what it looks like in real life.
Right. Literally. So while I was going through what it looked like in real life, it wasn't easy.
No.
That joint was pretty intense.
I feel you.
Type. You feel me?
People used to like not like, because I remember even if because I never really smoked weed, but if I was joking or whatever, if I felt like I wanted to try, people would be like, nah, I would never smoke with you. Like, I'm not gonna let you do that. Talking about people who smoke for real.
No, yeah.
You know, they're like, nah, I'm not letting you do that.
I feel you.
Let me ask you this: did you ever and you probably still have this? I don't know if, well, maybe you don't, but do people come up to you and they kind of talk to you about what they're going through? But they look at you and be like, yeah, you can do this, but Ryan, you can do this, but I can't.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I know people definitely, or like my whole life, come up to me just about their problems in general. I mean, like this one girl, like she said I was like a therapist, like to her. That's how like how bad it was. You feel me?
Yeah.
And people definitely do navigate towards me.
All right. I don't so you made a face, and this was something that I wanted to talk about earlier.
I wasn't talking about you, just so you know.
No.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that kind of face. It was like, I could have been reading it wrong, but when you have that light, you're not only going to attract the people who are supposed to be in close. Let me start over. When you have that light, you're not only going to attract the people that you want in close proximity.
Facts.
How do you like deal with that? Because I feel like, bro, if that's the like people. Okay, let me say what I'm really trying to say.
I know what you mean. Go ahead.
I feel like in that situation, if somebody's in a desperate spot, or not even, I don't want to call it desperate because I don't want to. I don't know who that might offend. Yeah, or a vulnerable spot, and you're turning to somebody, and they actually turn out to be like, you'd be like, yo, you're like a therapist for me. You helped me so much. I think sometimes when people are in those spots, they start to get ideas of a different kind of relationship.
I know.
Like
You know what I'm
like
saying?
The supplement kind of for God type of thing.
Well, yeah, that he's a supplement for God, and then because of that, people, I think, especially around our age, that's when we start to mix like, oh yeah, we should be like together.
Oh yeah, so true, so true. It's like overstepping your boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like a good thing. it's crazy because it's like sometimes you show up in people's lives and they've never met anyone like you, and it's so much more like good in you than what they know that they're like, oh, this must be my like future husband.
I feel you.
God sent me to you.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, but
Yeah.
like I would be this way for a lot of people,
Everybody,
so that
yeah.
that can't be the reason why.
At least supposed to be like one of those people that got like
I-
12 wives.
Yeah,
like-
shoot, not gonna be me.
That's too much work and expensive.
I feel like you
Say
probably
it
dealt with that
again.
like a lot more. What'd you say?
I said, say it
No,
again.
what'd you
I said
say?
it's too expensive.
Yeah, that too, bro.
Not if I'm a kingdom
But-
man.
Oh, why he said that, yo? We are wearing my merch. I was waiting for a chance to say it. Proverbs 31 woman. The verses on the back. Kingdom Man. These are one. She did all these shirts, bro. Super dope. We're gonna talk about more about it later.
Proverbs
But I want to
31.
let you know
Proverbs
that we are all-
31.
She's a
Wearing my
hard worker.
Hard work. You remember that?
Yeah, I do, of course. But dang, I see. What was I about to say? Oh, that's what I was say. You probably experienced that more than I have because, no. Just because. I'm not. But yeah.
Expose yourself.
Yeah. No.
But going back
But-
to go ahead.
Now, yeah, because I was like, I learned at a young age how to like place boundaries because my mom taught me like, because I used to always be like, oh, I have so many friends, like this is my friend, this is my friend, this is my friend. My mom taught me, not everyone's your friend. Like I'll be like, oh, what are they? Because we talk and all that. But some people are just acquaintances. Like, you know what I mean? There's a difference between like having a friend and having an acquaintance. So after I learned that lesson, I was able to really think about, yo, who's really for me and who's really just here just because like we go to the same school or just here like for whatever reason. You feel me? So after I was able to start thinking about that in like a deeper light, I was able to unknowingly grow a discernment that was telling me, yo, this guy is for you. You know that that TikTok sign on like snake.
Yeah.
Snake, you feel me? And that's really how it was. Cause like even like now, if someone walks in the room and they not right, I'm gonna feel that you're not right. Like God's gonna tell me before I know, type of thing. You feel me? So you look at me all day like crazy. You want to interject, sir?
Nah, I was just thinking like, cause I definitely got that same lesson, but I didn't get it. Like I got it, and I'll say this too, just being honest. I think I can't even look at the camera and say this, bro.
No shame,
Like,
you, sir.
It's just I got it with guys, didn't get it with the girls.
I feel you. I feel
Like,
that.
and that just speaks to like I know where I need to be strengthened, and
Yeah.
I feel like when I look at it more lately, I've been able to like look at it as the same thing that Adam dealt with. You know, Adam had that groaning for like, you know, a companion, and if you're a man, you got it too. You know, well, not just if you're a man, like everybody has a desire for a companion, and so the thing I've been working on is not letting my desire for my relationship with God be overridden by the valid, but also lesser of a priority desire to have like that companionship with a woman. But being a kid, growing up a teenager, you know, all the narratives out there about what it means to be a man and how soon you should be dating and what dating means.
Awful.
All of that stuff going around. I'm doing my best to navigate. Like if I didn't have God, I would have turned out different. But
Right.
just because I had God, it didn't mean that I wouldn't have challenges. It just made the challenges more bearable.
Right.
You know, like I was better equipped to handle them.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think that's something that makes like my experience so much more different than like both of you guys, because like I know what it's like to be like 100% in the world and like the complete like 180 that you do. And it's true, like you literally turn out to be such a different person, and I couldn't imagine what it would be like if I was still walking down that path with all like the freedoms that you have as an adult. Because I was wilding at 16, 17, 18. I was wilding at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then 18, I was like, oh, okay. And I couldn't imagine what it would be like if I was in the world at 23 years old, living by myself, like doing all this stuff. Because I wouldn't be with you.
That's a fact.
That's for dang sure. I wouldn't. He would be such a cornball to me, like for real.
No,
Like,
that's,
he would.
that's what I was talking
He
about,
doesn't-
bro.
Nah,
That's what
I
I was
felt
talking
that.
about.
And I would be a cornball too.
Like for me,
Yeah.
that's literally what because like
Y'all
in
gotta
high
go
school-
there. Y'all gotta
Yeah,
go
we
there.
do.
School, bro. But I was saying, being known as a Christian, because I knew people see me as a cornball. The major
Yeah.
question I got, yo, do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you
Yeah.
party? No.
And
no.
it's crazy
like you
because,
feel
like-
me?
You mean you're healthy?
No, literally, like, you don't kill your lungs for a living.
But not to like expose myself too though. Like there was like one girl in particular that like she went to church every single day. Like she didn't like we were really good friends, but we were only friends from 7:55 to 8:46. After that and before that, she was at church. Like she was doing her thing, and she's a really good person. Like she had like her community there, and she always was like inviting us to, like church functions and stuff, and they were really fun. But she was a cornball, like she's really awesome. Like she's super cool. But back then I just remember everybody looking at her and treating her different, and like we wouldn't have certain conversations around her, and we wouldn't like that's completely valid, and I know what it's like to like be on like the giving end of that and like and put somebody else on the receiving end of that. And it's true, like people do look at you different,
as they should.
Yeah,
as they should.
I want to say that she's not saying that she's a cornball like now, no, with her eyes now.
Oh,
She's saying,
absolutely
like,
not. She's so awesome.
Before she was saying when she was in the world that she was a cornball. I'm not
And
gonna,
when you're in middle school and like you see somebody going to church every single day, like
no, yeah, I feel
What
and
are you
people
doing?
were like people were like smoking and like were already getting arrested in middle school, like
right. Oh,
so
that's cool.
yeah,
That's
like it was
really
cool.
how
Like
it
shoot,
was.
they were everybody that was doing that. Like everybody was so cool that was like smoking and drinking. Like it was so
I've been
exciting.
going to jail. I remember that being like
Yeah.
knowing someone who went to jail. And I'm like,
I was in
yo,
like
you
8th grade.
we was in 8th grade. It's the first time I knew someone that went to jail. Like
Yeah.
8th grade, 7th grade.
That's a crazy mindset.
It's so crazy. But
Yeah.
I was like, even me, I was like, yo, you're kind of cool. Like, you feel me?
Honestly, like you're kind of hard.
Like it was just.
It's indulgence.
Yeah.
It's indulgence in the flesh.
Yeah.
It's
literally.
like that's what it boils down to. But it's really crazy. That's how you know it's opposite of God, because if it's good for if it's good for me to be cool that I know someone that went to jail, then I should want that for anybody around me, right?
Yeah.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, that's the timer.
dang.
All right, y'all.
That was so
crazy.
fast.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, we can like extend it a little bit. It's a special episode. We got Emily here. We can extend it, or we could just cut it right here.
I'm good to go. We can go for like 20 more minutes. That's how much storage we got. And I figured that'd be good. And we'll go eat.
Listen, y'all. This is what I'm gonna say here. Oh wait. So it mean 20 more minutes and to keep this episode?
We can just let it all run.
Oh, so we just do.
Yeah, we just go
like
from
50-minute episode.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm down.
You guys can stay.
Break it up into 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well,
We
that too.
could,
Yeah.
but,
But
like-
I'll just say we can keep it all on the same track.
I've been
Oh.
wanting to test like
Oh,
Like,
let's do it then.
a 50-minute joint.
All right, let's do it.
So let's see. How it
Yeah,
goes.
let's do
You
it.
know, it's already.
Yeah, but I was saying
if
if I want, if me knowing somebody in jail makes me cooler, that's not good, because then I should want that for whoever around me. But then I also wouldn't say, what if they were like, all right, you can know somebody that's gonna go to jail, but it's got to be Ryan. Do I still want it?
right.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, facts.
You're not going to jail.
Nah.
That's crazy.
No, yeah, but that's like not even just the flesh. That's like the culture battling with the Christian.
But the culture is it's like indulgence of the flesh, like to be accepted.
Right.
You know what I'm
And that-
saying?
like, that's what I'm saying. But like, well, that is what I'm saying. That's pretty spot
Yeah.
on. Yeah, because I'm just like, I'm not even gonna think about myself. Let's say culture. Forget about my flesh. Culture in the world, like versus Christianity culture, whatever you want to call it, versus like God. You feel me?
They're opposite.
Complete opposite, and like you can feel it, and it's uncomfortable when you're too far to one side, which is why God says like you can't like choose two masters or whatever. And,
Yeah.
like I'm not saying like I ever had like two masters or anything, but like when I was younger and I was like still figuring things out, and like I saw like I almost said his name. I'm not gonna say his name. And I saw like that he had went to jail or whatever, and he I played football with him too. You feel me? So I'm like, oh shoot, like you kind of like tough, but at the same time, like I knew, like,
Yeah.
yo, you're an idiot. Like you feel me? And if you're watching this, you knew you was an idiot. But well, you saw my boy though.
And best believe they've had that conversation already.
No, I didn't have that conversation with him.
Never mind.
But no,
Dang.
he was my boy though. Like I'm not gonna lie, I did rock with him.
Emphasis on was my boy.
I don't know him anymore, but like yeah, he was like back then he was my boy. But like I cared about him and everything. But like yeah, but I had that little battle in my body. You feel me?
Yeah.
The flesh is like, oh shoot, so cool. We should go to jail. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't say that.
But that's how it
That's how
goes,
it be,
though.
though.
That's how it
be.
goes.
Like yo, we should go to jail. Like you ever see that that show? It's called
Scared Straight.
yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
every single
And they
episode.
all
Yeah,
go to
Scared
jail,
Straight,
and
yeah.
they're like, oh, I don't want to be hard anymore. but like your flesh got you there. You feel me? Like,
And I think that's how the enemy works with anything. I had a conversation with somebody about Uzi because I saw that she had posted like when he got the inverted cross tatted in his lip or no on his tongue.
Yeah.
I want to do an episode about
Woo.
that. I want to do this is so relevant to this. I want to do an episode like for about like people just like no, this is for you guys. You need to say something.
Okay.
Is for like weaponizing Christianity as like a non-Christian and how like it's okay to do that, but it's not okay to do like other religions. Like leave it alone. Put the cross down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, too Megan.
All right. I had heard. So having a conversation with this girl. Ooh, violence. I was having a conversation with this girl about Uzi because she posted when he had got the tattoo of the inverted cross on his tongue, which is wild to have an inverted cross tatted anywhere. But when you think about it being on the tongue, like life and death, right here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, crazy.
I didn't even think about that.
Crazy. And we were having a conversation and it was like, conversation got to a point where it was like, why is he doing this? Like, he really loves the devil.
Literally.
And in my mind, I was like, he might, but he also might not. Like, he also might have gotten to a point where he's like, the enemy is like, I'll promise you all these things. I'm going to give you the money, the fame, acceptance, women, power, whatever you want, you can have it. And he does.
Yeah.
He has it. But
Yeah.
all those things are not giving him what he really wants. But at the time when he made his wish list, he didn't know what he was really asking for. The enemy knew. He knew, like, when you make that wish list, you're not asking for things. You're asking for something to be fulfilled. The things didn't fulfill. He's now finding that out, and he's like, dang, this ain't working. And maybe he wants to get up from the table, and the enemy's like, what, you gonna go to God?
Yeah, for real.
He don't want you now. You've been with me.
That's crazy. That's what Black China did.
Yeah. Is she? I don't know what her real name is, but I forgot.
I don't even know about that.
She's so.
She complete 180.
Yeah,
You
she
know what I
goes
mean?
by her like real government name now.
Stopped her
like,
OnlyFans, took out her
everything.
Yeah, but
her
she had
In
work
Hollywood.
done.
Yeah.
Implant.
And
okay.
Hollywood is
Implants
like
and
clowning
whatever.
her.
Like
Yeah,
both
whatever
Botox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood
Yeah.
is clowning
And
her right
Hollywood's-
now. It's like, oh, that's my corny way doing that. But you
Because
just
she stopped making people money.
yeah, but it's like true though and I also think that Christians also feed into the idea of like God doesn't want you anymore because like people think that your testimony is like too dirty and like you're too far gone type of thing.
Yeah.
That it's like, well, I already done lived 23 years of my life doing X, Y, and Z. Like, I can't do that anymore. Like, I'm starting from ground zero. Like, I done did too much.
That's that. That's what we were
It's
talking
not
about. The
true.
perfect Christian. Like,
Exactly.
mindset.
Dying on the cross. Let's talk about this. So I'll use this. I've been waiting to use this analogy.
Okay,
my
go
fault.
ahead,
Been
go
waiting.
ahead.
I don't know.
The
So
bike's down, Emily.
this was just a quick one because I was thinking like next time I'm like preaching or whatever, I would use it. All right, so I want to go to Walmart and I'm gonna go into Walmart and I want to buy. I want to pay for my stuff for everybody in the store that's there and for everybody that comes in the store for the rest of the day. Is that like, you know how much money that would be?
Right.
lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Right.
But I don't have.
Do you think?
Inflation is crazy.
Do you think I would be able to come up with a number? Right, like I just gotta leave my card. I'll come pick it up back tomorrow. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
So that means you think I'm gonna leave I'm gonna leave a credit card there that has
Infinite balance.
right. So when Jesus was on the cross and he wanted to cover the sins of everyone present and future, that's what he did. So whatever you did, just think about your own stuff because everybody's not going to accept it. So if you think that you think that he didn't put enough, no, he put way more than you will ever need on the cross.
Right.
So you don't have to feel like I've done too much or I'm too dirty.
Yeah, to go one step further about you don't know how many people are going to go into Walmart. You also don't know like what type of people are going to go into Walmart. Like, bro, Bill Gates can be in there and you already done paid for him, or it could be somebody that hates you for like the color of your skin, or hates you because you're a man, or hates you because you're a Christian. But what are you going to do? Give me my car back, not him. No, your car's already there. Like, what's done is done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
to your point, that's why like you don't.
that was kind of spitting.
You was spitting. You when you, that's why, like, when you do that, you say, like, you go and you pay that at Walmart. You don't stay there all day. You go about your business.
Right.
Like, just do what I asked you to do and leave. Because maybe you're not at a point where you want to pay for the person that hates you. But what happens if you go pick up your car the next day and that person who hates you maxed you out, and now they're like, I just want to thank the person, whoever it was. Boom, now you pull up and you are what they hate.
Right.
But the thing that you did for them without even knowing who they are was so massive to them that you just changed the whole way they think. But do you reciprocate that hate to the point where you won't even get the chance to hear them open up their mouth and, say how things have changed?
I think that analogy is so perfect because I think just like tying it back to like what we're talking about with like your walk, I think that honestly just like symbolizes and conceptualizes like my walk, because when I tell you I hated God, like, bro, you know how we be stumping on the devil? Bro, I was punching the air. Like I didn't like him. I didn't respect him. I didn't want to understand him. But seeing like what you could do for my life, like I maxed out his card at Walmart. Like that was alone. Me. Like alone. Like, bro, they literally had to call him. Walmart literally had to call him and was like, bro, pick up your card back. Because I don't think you can afford this no more.
You still want this
no,
card?
literally.
And he came back and dropped another card off.
Literally. But like, dude, like I'm still like God's child, and like God still worked with me, and like all I wanted to do after that was literally just thank him for like his impact. And like we talk about this all the time, like the fact that we both went to like the college that we did and like crossed paths is absolutely nothing but God, because
I did not want to go to that college at all.
I
was
really
sad when I went.
He didn't want to go.
Super sad.
How about now?
No, that was pretty cool.
But honestly, and even when we were there, like I was gonna transfer out like after the first semester, and I just like couldn't do it. And
like 5 times.
And one thing about me is if I don't want to be there, I'm gonna go. And I just like I couldn't. And like we were in the same friend group. Our friend group was massive. It was like 50,000 people. It wasn't. It was like 12. But like we were the only ones standing. Like it was just us, and I couldn't be clouded by literally anybody else. Like he also didn't really have the chance to get clouded by anybody else. And all it like literally was just all God, and God just was like still working in me, and God was still like, dude, like literally get your life together. I'm literally right here. Just please open your eyes. And I did, and I maxed out his credit card, and all I wanted to do was thank him. That's my testimony.
Did I talk to you about? Was I talking to you when I talked about Jesus and the church being like the bride?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Was I talking to you? And then basically I was saying how God's love is so different from ours. And this is like how you were saying, like God was at your door, wherever you were, just waiting for the day and the chance that you might want to rock out with him. And it's like, I think I was talking to you because we were talking about kings.
I think you did, because I've heard this before.
And like how the people ask for a king.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but people basically ask for a king, and he's like, nah, Jesus is going. He's the. You don't need it. What do you need a king for? I'm here. Yeah. And so it's like God loves us so much that He'll provide us with something that we don't need, just because we think we need it. And so like when He talks about Jesus being the bride of the church, Jesus never stood in the pulpit. He let another man do it. He's letting other men hold his bride's hand if it means that they'll get closer to him.
I feel you.
Imagine being like, I got my girl, right? And my girl's like, I feel like I love you more when Mark comes and cooks dinner for me.
That's crazy.
That's so good.
Like I get closer. I like when we talk about like, well, what do y'all do? It's like, well, we talk about you. Why can't you just talk to me about me and you? Isn't that better? We're closer. And it is. But she's like, nah, Mark talk about you better than you do. And I'm like, what? I'm me. But he's like, you know what? Go ahead. Let Mark cook dinner for you. Oh, wait. Matter of fact, would you want me to move out? And you and Mark could live together? I mean, as long as you're getting closer to me. That's literally what God does.
Yeah, right.
And like he waits around.
That's beautiful.
Doesn't care where you're at.
Bro.
I don't got it like that. So don't come to me asking for no Mark. It's not going to happen.
Like when I was in like college, actually, I started like junior year maybe senior year maybe. I'm not really sure now too. I started thinking more about like Jesus and how like he's Jesus and how the standard of being a man is Jesus. You feel me? So much opposite of what the world will tell you. But that joint stuck, huh? But you could say that, but it's a different way. It's different when you actually try to live that. Like if you break down who Jesus was, he was a king. He was the highest king of the kings. You feel me? Came down to dirt poor. You feel me? Like he came from everything to nothing. You know?
And you know that's a scripture.
Yeah, it is. I know. I knew it was. I know where it's at, but I think it's probably Matthew and Mark and Luke.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
But like he grew up and became a man who serves. Became a man who wasn't about culture. You feel me? He
Yeah.
was so opposite. He was so opposite. So much so that people didn't want him around.
Yeah.
You feel me? He was so much of a man that people couldn't handle him being
Yes.
around them.
And
You feel me?
that is something we have to hold on to and look to for encouragement, because whenever we talk, we know basically essentially when he was born, his life, he already turned it over to God. So when we talk about what it means for us to turn over our lives to God, or turn our lives over to God rather, when you need to see yourself being rejected for things you should not be rejected for, because that is what's going to make you double down on that. And you need to be by yourself. Like, rejection is a part of growth. Like, I need you to reject me so I can become confident in these things that I know they're true. I know that I don't want to be any other way except for this. Because if they accept me, God, I just want to be accepted. All right, fine. Accept him, yo. He got to play with y'all. Cool. Then you start playing games that they play. You find out you're not built to play them games.
Even God was rejected too. You feel me?
Oh yeah, his whole life.
And like yeah, even now. But like that's the thing though. Like at the end of the day, God's still a man.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So when you get to a point where it's like, okay, I want to be a man, but I want to be like a man like Jesus. That's the path that during that I started going.
Be careful
through.
what you pray for.
Be careful what you pray for, because he
Be
That's
careful
what we
what
were
you
talking
pray
about
for.
before.
He will
Like,
give it to you
that's
because because I started. I don't even know if that was like a prayer. I think I just did it intentionally. I just started trying to figure out where in my life, where was I wrong? It was lot was with her. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember us talking, and she didn't. Oh, what was it?
I don't know where this is
It
going.
was certain
Now
things
I'm
about
a little
Getting
my
hot.
it was certain things about my communication, because my communication has always been very strong. You feel me?
Mhm.
But I had to learn that I can't talk to her the way I talk to my ex-girlfriend. You feel me?
Sure can't.
But
I don't play that.
a man of culture is gonna be like, nah, forget you. Like, I'm right. Man of God though, what would Jesus do?
He would
Jesus,
level up.
Even Jesus tried to relate to people who felt like they were worthless.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Because they're not.
Honestly.
They
Yeah.
feel like it, but I know you're not.
Exactly. So I had to meet her where she was at.
Yeah.
And I had to change my communication levels in order for us to work. Even though I felt like my communication was already very strong, because I said things that were on my mind, and I said it in a blunt way.
So,
You feel me?
and what you're really hitting at as a sidebar, this is for fellas. If you want a woman, you will have to become more of a man you've ever been in your entire life.
Oh yeah.
Because the standard changed from him being by himself to him being with a woman. And this is gonna be spicy. When you talk about leadership and submission in the Bible, that's it right there.
Oh, we could talk about submission.
Because
That's another episode.
he submitted his lifestyle and his choices to her needs. Come on.
I
Like,
want to talk about submission. Now.
that's what it is. And the same way, like, if you ever want the woman you're with to feel comfortable submitting to you, then you have to already have planted your own seed of submission at that level.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, oh, well, let's get what you want to eat this time. No. Like, that's a change, because his communication is already good. His communication is fine. But right, but it was like, if you really want me to be my healthiest and us to be our healthiest, this is what it's going to take. And it's a choice. It's not being forced to do it. But he chooses to undergo that change so that the relationship can thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And even just from like on the receiving end, like as a girl too, like I think arguably like I well, going back to like who I was, like in general, even today, like I'm very independent. Like I know how to do everything like by myself, and I prefer to do things my way because I'm the only one that does it the right way, honestly. And I was just raised to like know how to do things and not lean on somebody. Like I can probably build a house from the foundation up. I could change a tire. I could do anything. I don't need.
She's serious about building the house. She's
No,
not
I
can't. It's not an example.
No, it's
not an
not.
example.
I literally know how to do everything, and like that's just how my dad raised me. I know how to do everything, but I don't want to do everything. Like I just don't want to do that. Like if I have like, and like the strong woman like mentality, like that's fun and that's great and that's respectable. That's not me though. And like I don't want to be that anymore. And I think that like him meeting me like where I required him, like lowering kind of how he spoke to me and like lowering like some like issues or whatever, like it allowed me to lower my issues that I was having, because I also like in the way that he was very blunt and honest, I was very argumentative, and like I was pretty defensive, and like I would have a smart mouth and like all this other stuff, and it would be like an issue, and I was not willing to like lower that or like even consider that being an issue if like you weren't able to like make me feel like safe enough to like change that behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once you like again change your communication style and like you submit and like your behaviors and like alter that and like are able to identify that as an issue, then like I in turn am allowed to do that. But I just feel like especially today it is way too dangerous for like a woman to just like go into like a relationship like automatically like willing and able to be submissive, because now like I'm a chump.
You don't know who you're gonna get.
Exactly. You don't know who you're gonna get. Like this man could kill me or like.
For you.
Go ahead.
I'll say we got a 3 minute.
Okay. I was gonna say something real quick. Because like you said something about being like a strong woman. So you don't want that strong woman mindset. But like if anything, like she's a stronger woman for being able to find out what had to be changed. You know, because if you really want to talk about it, the whole strong woman mentality is built up in pride. Like,
and also too, I think it also goes back to her where her dad, like her dad raised her in a way where she wouldn't need like a man, right?
Right.
That's crazy to think I need to raise my daughter in case, since I need to raise my daughter in this way because there are so few good men.
Yeah.
In the same way how you just said, like, I forget exactly what you said, but it was on that same idea of like, oh, well, I need to be all this because like the men aren't doing what the men, what God said a man is supposed to do. I don't see it.
Right.
And that's true though. Like very like honestly, like I don't need him in the same way you don't need me. Like we talk about all the time. Like we will be fine. Like we were fine before we met each other. If God forbid anything happens, we'll be fine after. Like there'll be like a brief period where that'll like hurt, but we're fine because like we don't rely on each other for like our happiness. Like it's just like a very happy and wonderful addition and like supplement. And I think that's like important.
That's what happens when you don't cling to someone based off like what they can heal for you.
Yeah,
what they can do
and
for
like
you.
God is like in the center of us.
Yeah,
it's not just us.
If you just cling to me based off of what I can heal for you, then us breaking apart would have been so much more terrible, because now I'm not only a band-aid, but I'm a handcuff for you. You feel me? Like you need me. So when you break that chain, you go crazy.
And you depend on, in those moments, you depend on the other person when you should have been dependent on God.
And now I'm idle.
And that's why God is in the ooh.
Yep. And what happens is, what really gets deep is you have a good woman that you made an idol, and so now what you have to do is try to figure out how to stop making her your idol while still loving her and getting right with God.
Right.
Very sticky business.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Like, how do I remove something? Like, for maybe I had a sex addiction. How do I repair my relationship with sex, and not feel guilty still doing it when I'm in the right boundaries?
I feel you.
Like, what?
Yeah, sticky situation. I'm sure that 3 minutes is up.
Yeah, we're down to 1.
Yeah.
But
all right, y'all.
You got to come back.
Hey man, you know, I'll be around.
Again, my shirt's dropping like this week. I don't know when this video is dropping, but shirts is dropping. What's the date?
They're either dropping or they already dropped.
Yeah, it's just April 22nd right now. So I expect them out this week, right?
Yeah, you probably won't see this. Yeah.
And they're also all handmade by me.
Yeah, like I said, yeah. She learned literally how to make them 4 days ago. So
they are made with love.
Yeah.
And
Verses
tears.
on the back. Can you turn around real quick? Proverbs 31 woman, and then Proverbs 31 woman verses all down the back.
Yep.
So yeah, I show mine too.
Oh snap!
Kingdom
Less than 1 minute.
Right there.
Oh, look at that squat.
Yeah. But all right, y'all. We out of here. We love y'all.
Bye.
Peace.